in less than 30 minutes. So that includes generating the link, maybe pointing a domain name that just closer to the real domain name. If you are trying to launch an attack, if we want to fetch some LinkedIn credential, just need to tell an AI, hey, build me a LinkedIn clone. You buy a domain name that's closer to LinkedIn, could be like LinkedIn or thinkdin.com, and then you can use that to fetch credentials. So it has become easy, while phishing still remain one of the most successful attacks when it comes to digital environments. So like we can't talk about AI without even like pointing to that, because it's become so easy. Building fake websites, fake emails, mimicking invoices, it becomes so easy. And even if it's about even like build like a semi-sophisticated system, now we know AI, of course, Claude and this others can assist you in producing codes to build a certain attack. So we have to be careful, because AI has made everything easy. And then it's made everything easy because people remain the weakest link in any cybersecurity attack. You can build strong encryption, you can make strong infrastructures, more secure systems, but if the human is still there, the human layer of the entire chain is still the weakest link, your system will go down. So like people, they are still the easiest targets to break into any system. So like with now AI, not just you can build a clone of a website, you can build a clone of a face. We're talking about in that case, we're talking about deep fakes. Could be like a video, a deep fake, talking about video, talking about images, talking about even voice, because we think we just like send 5 seconds of your voice can be cloned. And all of those pieces can be used to fetch certain accesses or certain information that could provide an attacker access. So which has made the cybersecurity career to go beyond just building strong tools. It's about thinking about all of those multiple pieces that come together that could be a weak link within a secure system or a secure network. That's why whenever I receive an email, you receive a request, whether it's WhatsApp, it's a simple text message, or an email, do not just rush, because the human brain has a tendency to work on autopilot. So just take a few seconds just to pause, check the sender, check the email address, the button that you see in the email. Just try to hover a little bit over the button to see what's the hidden link behind the button. Those small practices, you have no idea how much they could save in terms of cybersecurity efforts. So when you are careful when it comes to any message that you're receiving, any call that you are receiving, you're careful with the different passwords, authentication, like still okay, what have you implemented like multi-factor or two-factor authentication? When you take into account at least those fundamentals, now you can focus on the bigger stuff, especially when you try to protect systems, because everything starts from the weak link, which is the human aspects of the entire security chain. The second thing, you need to treat AI like a public space. You shouldn't use AI to share sensitive information or company data, and that includes even these large language models. If you're using ChatGPT for work, don't put any sensitive information in such tools. There have been some cases where some private workspaces within ChatGPT, such information were made public. There've been like such cases. You could Google and say, okay, there were like some work environment that were made public, which is an outcome that we do not want to to fall into. And then, of course, knowing that the AI they're trained on all of those data and all of that. So just make sure you do not paste sensitive personal details into tools, especially tools that are not approved by your company or your security advisor or any in-depth research that you've done on when it comes to building your personal security. So if it's at work, just use tools that your organization allows, else you're gonna get in trouble once the worst happens. So you can use AI, but then do not put in sensitive or personal information. So that's may already give you an idea on if you want now to build a career within cybersecurity, where do you start? You just need to start with these fundamentals because cybersecurity is large, and here it's a subset of digital security, which goes beyond cybersecurity. It's large, but then it involves all of these small pieces. So it just starts with the fundamentals, see how the internet works, the security protocols, encryption. Once all those fundamentals, why you should have a stronger password, how long would it take to crack a weaker password, what tools can be used for brute force or any other forms of attack. So just start with those fundamentals. And you can start by trying to secure yourself, because when you try to secure yourself, you're already getting at some of the insights. And then you'll continue, your learning will compound with time. So just start by pretty small concepts and apply them in your life, and then you'll move on from there. So that was basically a summary of even what you can see on this slide, how the devices communicate. If you trying to, you can go now from there. If you are a Windows user, trying to say, okay, this operating system, how do they work, for instance? What does it mean, the difference between Windows and Linux in terms of security? Why do programmers prefer Linux instead of Windows? What does it mean? Authentication, risk, defense basics. You can just start by learning those small concepts, and you can move from here. You can start even practicing within what's called Kali Linux, in case you are not familiar with it. It's an environment where you can practice even some of these concepts, including some brute force attacks on the different systems that you may have built. So you can start by saying, okay, let me build a website, and then let me use some tools to see, okay, what's the security behind these websites. You can start whether it's using even like existing content management systems that are widely used to build website. For instance, we're talking about WordPress, Drupal, Joomla. You can even start from there, build a website, and then you learn how to make it the more secure. So that's already a good way to start. But then never forget about the weaknesses that could arise from the human side of it, because you can build strong system processes, but then the human's always the point of entry. So that's how I will go about it. And then whatever you build, whatever security feature or processes you implement on your work, whether it's on a website or just within a sandbox, just practice and then share your progress. You can write notes. You can have a personal website or just write short articles about what you learned. If it involves certain code, you just put it on GitHub. That helps you build your portfolio and track progress and receive even feedback from your peers or anyone from the industry. So that's some sort of proof that you need even when you need a job within cybersecurity. They just say, okay, how well can you do what? So you need to show some proof of work. So I will go about it that way. So you may definitely have like some other ways that work. So that's definitely one of the ways that beats just writing a super clean CV, because you need to show proof of work. And then you need to ask more questions, a lot of questions, and don't be afraid to tell a friend who is a programmer, hey, I did this website, try to crack it, try to find weaknesses. There could be anything that I may have missed. Or Can you try to find weaknesses on my Gmail setup, for instance? Can you try to finding a weakness in this database that I just set up? So when you ask a lot of questions and you allow people that you trust to also check what could be wrong with a certain feature, plugin, website, app, database, on the system that you build in the software, it gives you uh, the basis for you to grow and gain insights from people who are highly skilled in the area. So we know that AI is changing cybersecurity, but fundamentals, they are still one of the best way to protect ourselves so that we don't just fall victim from any layman who's trying just to maybe do security attacks for fun. So just start small, stay consistent, and keep building step by step. And remain curious, read about cybersecurity, focus on proper habits on your security, and then you'll improve from there. And you'll be amazed how much progress you're gonna make, and you're gonna build a very cool career out of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Othniel. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. All right, guys. Um, I know some people might have questions. I don't know what you suggest. Should we take question quickly and then move to the next host, or what do you suggest?
I mean, yeah, if they're like questions, we can
Yes,
definitely
yes. I
answer
think we
them.
should.
I'm
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
also looking at time.
For
I
sure,
know
for
I
sure.
went over like 2 3 minutes. Sorry about that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think we should take questions. If anyone here have a concern on the topic, and maybe would like to get some orientation about a specific point, feel free to ask your question, please.
So mine is not a question, but there is a link that I have shared in the chat. It's very useful. You can use it to remind yourself about the cybersecurity. And if not you, you can even share it with people around. It's like a game. So you can
Okay.
even share it with a grown person who just want to understand what is a password, what is a website, like why do all these things exist? Because at the end, we still need to be useful, even not for ourselves, but even for people around us. So if you know you are in this digital world, you can also educate people around you. So just use that link to educate people around you, if not you. Just an insight.
Thank you so
Oh,
much, Mr.
thank
Always.
you. That's a really good one. I just want to add a little bit. Also added the link of Hexabelt. So just within the same line, the Hexabelt platform allows you to take a um a security assessment. We
Assessment,
just
huh?
answer like 20
Yeah.
questions, and
Mhm,
then the app provides you, it shows you first what are the weaknesses that exist within, like in your current security health. So what are
mhm,
the strengths, what are the weaknesses, and then it
mhm,
gives you a practical step-by-step action plan with specific tasks that you need to implement. That includes two-factor authentication, that includes recovery plans, that includes phishing. So get like an action plan with tasks and deadlines, and with even a digital security assistant built in case there's a task that you don't understand, just ask AI just by clicking, and then it can guide you on how
mhm.
to actually implement that, and then you can see your score improving with time as you become more secure. So if you have
For
like
sure,
any resources, you can share them definitely.
for sure. I suggest you guys to check the Exabet link for more details about the security assessment. It's very, very interesting one. Thank you so much, Mr. Othniel, and thanks everyone. Guys, if you don't want to talk, you can still send the question as a message in the chat. It will still be answered. Thank you so much. Let's take Mr. Christian, who is also with us. Let's see. Seems like there's a question in the chat. Not a question. Great. Let's go with Mr. Christian, who is also on the call. Welcome, Mr. Christian.
Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. Nice to see you. It's a pleasure for me to be here with all of you. Give me 1 second. I start to share my screen. 1 second, guys. I start to share my screen.
Sure, sure.
Guys, let me know if you can see my screen properly. Okay, thank you.
Yes, we can see the screen.
Okay, thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. Let me do just a short introduction about me. So my name is Cristian Camilo. I am from Colombia. I am software development technician, software development technologies, and assistance engineer. So I have several year experience creating software in the industry and also working as a software instructor. Today we're gonna have this discussion about the future and the current stage in the software development industry. First of all, we need to start talking about the fundamentals over the tool because technology is consistently evolving. Even the years, we see new frameworks, new programming language, and new tools. What is popular today may become obsolete tomorrow. However, the core fundamentals in the software engineering have remained stable for decades. I'm talking about algorithms and data structures, the problem-solving skills, the software architecture, the networking fundamentals like the web protocols, HTTP, HTTPS, how that works APIs. All of these concepts has been at the foundation of our field for more than 50 years. So if you focus only on tools, your knowledge becomes temporary. But if you master the fundamentals, your knowledge becomes timeless and adaptable. For that reason, when we talk about the risk of the AI without understanding. Now, in this current stage in 2026, we can't talk about software developer without talking about the artificial intelligence. We are entering a world where developers increase really on the AI to generate code. And that is not a big thing. AI is incredible and powerful tool, but it's come with a risk. You don't understand what the AI is generating. You are not truly developing software. You are just copying results. And this leads real problems. So in cybersecurity vulnerabilities, because if you don't have good practice in engineering, at the moment when you try to create software solutions, the software will have vulnerabilities. Poor system design. Why poor system design? Because one of the most important tasks that we have as software developers is the analysis. Because the analysis allow us to understand the customer necessities, how becoming requirements, and create scalable solutions. Because the AI allow you improve your code, but doesn't mean scalable applications. For generate scalable applications will require a great design and problem analysis. Also, the bugs. You don't know how to fix it. If you don't have fundamentals about the software debugging, understand how the algorithm works, you can create code, but maintain it throughout the time will be difficult. Because the software is not just about creating code. The software engineering, that's require understanding, analysis, and responsibility. Now, when we talk about Why engineering think matters? To build real world solutions, reading code doesn't enough. You need to think about like an engineer. That's mean understanding how to design systems, how to define use case, how the humans go to interact with the software that we created, how to analyze requirements, because the key, the software will be functional, is understand the customer necessities and become and requirements. For example, if you don't understand the architecture, you won't be able to design systems that grow over the time. Your software will just stay alive a couple years and then will become obsolete. If you don't understand the APIs, you don't be able to build systems that communicate effectively. When your software starts to grow, the customer have new necessities and we need to improve our software, let it grow. We need to understand how to communicate different software between them. On the other hand, if you don't understand the data structure, you don't be able to optimize performance. Because we need to, in this currently area in the cloud computing, we need to talk about the cost. What is the cost around these algorithms? The complexity. What about if our software have 10,000 users or 1 million users? What is the cost algorithm of this software? Make the calculus. For that reason, the engineering thinking is what transforms code into readable and scalable solutions. And remember, the AI is a tool, not a replacement. We should not resist the AI. AI here is to stay and still continue evolving. But we must use it correctly. The quality of what the AI produces depends directly on the quality of your thinking. In practice, this means better knowledge leads better prompts. Better prompts leads to better code. Better code leads to better software. So, mastering fundamentals is what allows you to guide AI effectively instead of behind dependent on it. That reason, our mission is teaching developers the right way. What we are doing goes beyond teaching people how to code. Our mission here in Prime Tech and Codecamp Academy is to help young developers understand what they are building. Think like a real engineer and developer require critical thinking. Build real and scalable solutions because the goal is not create developers who simply code faster. The goal is create developers who build better software that is readable, the most important, secure, and mindful. For that reason, the final message is to conclude, if you want to stand out of the full stack developer and this AI event-driven world, you don't really only on tools. We require master the fundamentals, develop a strong engineering thinking, use artificial intelligence with a critical judgment and responsibility. Because technologies will continue and evolve. Tools will continue changing, but the strongest engineering will always be valuable. Thank you so much for your time. The idea is guarantee when we create software, it is scalable. Okay? And any questions, feel free to ask. I am here to share all my experience with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Christian, for your presentation. We really, really appreciate. You know, actually, there is this thing that is coming with 2026, where people are, are building, like just the same way you listen to people saying that you can now build a complete app without any coding knowledge or something like that. So this is kind of leading to systems that you can see people using the username and password in the code directly. Something like if user equal admin and and password equal 1234, then logging. So can you imagine this type of issue? So that's what actually AI is building for people who doesn't exactly understand what they are doing. And on the security side as well, like Mr. Othniel said, we end up with systems that are not even maintainable. You don't even know exactly where the issue is. Even on the security side, because you don't understand software development, you end up building things and you are not even able to identify where is the weakness in terms of security. So that's one of the big issues that we are having now with people who are just jumping into the industry without considering all those aspects. And I really, really appreciate that from all of you guys and from all of our hosts that are, helping us understand why it's important to gain skills and how everyone should protect themselves with this AI era. And I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Mr. Christian. Thank you so much, Mr. Othniel, for your support.
Thank you
Guys,
so
I don't know
much
if
for
we
the
have.
opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Christian. I don't know if we have questions. Remember, you can still pass the question in the chat, and the presenters will still come back and answer. It's okay. Don't worry and don't feel ashamed to ask your question. If you feel like something is crossing your mind and you don't really have a clear answer about it, feel free to send a message in the chat. Thank you, guys. So we have Mr. Elvis. Elvis is also one of the experienced software developer and technical professional who have a lot of experience in different areas across the tech industry. And we are going, yes, we have Sami on the call who have a question. Yes, Sami Baseme. Yes.
Thank you. So I say good afternoon for everybody. But I want to
afternoon.
know if there are a link for a specific question.
Sorry, I don't think I got it well. If there is any link for, you mean for
A
questions?
specific question. It's a specific question.
See, if you have a question, you can just type it in the chat here, and there is a button on the left. No, sorry, on the right, where you can see the chat icon. Then you can paste the question there, and our presenters will feel free to answer. I can see a question in the chat. I heard that Cloud AI recently integrated an update for vulnerability detection. Is it good practice to trust? I think that's a question that Mr. Othniel can help us to answer. Or anyone among the hosts, feel free to.
I might just be in
Yes.
rush to answer, but here's what I think. This is just, always the industry has been like this. There are things that come just to, I cannot say to rob, but it's somehow to rob money.
It's a
They are
hype, you
building
mean?
AI. Yeah, it's a hype. They are they are bringing tools to help people code and build cool stuff just in a few minutes. And then when developer, like experienced developers, started to say, no, this is not secure, there are some vulnerability around, they say, okay, we are gonna lose these people who don't know how to code. So let's bring a tool so that they feel in security. So they can even build this vulnerability detection tool just to fix the mess they did with their AI assistant, and it ends up being like you are paying here for the builder, you're paying somewhere for the vulnerability detector, you are paying somewhere for reviewing your PR, you are paying another AI agent to view your finance, and at the end you will just stop using those tools because they are not effective, because they try to tell us we need to rely on them while we should use them as tools, not like they are saying you can hire an AI agent and then stay there watching it's doing everything. That's not a thing. It's gonna break soon and you will pay another tool, and then you pay another until you just, this is how it has been for a while in the tech industry. These days, in the past, it has been Web3. These days, it's AI. We don't know. Maybe after 3 years, people will be tired and then we will come back to the normal flow. I don't know. Or maybe AI will stay there and then we'll keep using it just how we use Google. Google is there, it has all the resources, but it cannot do things for us. We have to do the research and consolidate it into a useful way. Maybe that's the way we will just use AI. I hope it's happened like this. But if not, then we just have to keep watching people who don't know to code building vulnerable systems, and then they will pay us to come and fix them.
For sure, for sure. I completely agree with you. What I think. Yes, Mr. Otinyel, please go on.
Oh no, sorry. Go ahead. I can talk after you.
Yeah. What I wanted to mention here is that vulnerabilities doesn't just come. I'm coming back to the question from our friend Rai in the chat. Vulnerabilities doesn't just come from the code only. It's also come from our critical thinking. There is a way we think our app, or maybe we think about our system, that goes completely unsecure for the system. So we can have maybe clean code, but the way the structure is also done, that's something that is definitely going to create some trouble, and at the end we can be limited, So what's better is to make sure we really understand and know how our system is actually designed, because AI doesn't care if tomorrow you end up with a bug that breaks the system and then you lose your client. AI will never come to apologize for you, or maybe to ask to pay maybe the to pay you for the mistake it did. So whatever your AI code is doing, you'll be the one to explain why your code is doing that. So that's one of the other side where the AI cannot replace developers. Let's take Mr. Othniel. I see we have another question for him from Mr. Willow. Go on, Mr. Othniel.
All right. Okay, so there was another question. Okay, also like on proof of start. Okay, yeah. So this is actually a pretty good, interesting conversation, because I think I've seen some meme when it comes to like people who just generate apps using code. They don't understand what's going on, and then they just push their M file to GitHub, and you can see some interesting things. Yeah. So at least it highlights the part where, okay, of course AI is allowing like even people who don't know programming to get into the space and all of that. Just like a little bit before then, people could have gone say 2 weeks to build a website. They could be going to other tools if they had say their loan budgets, and there's a side also, say a software developer who could say, okay, maybe we are a little bit threatened, because if AI becomes perfect now, yeah, we feel a little bit threatened. So like that's everything, because if especially when it comes to prototype, because previously someone could just come and say, hey, I just need a product just to present, and then give you like $300. But then right now, okay, you can just do it and still present. So at least that layer is done. So and but then we also have to yeah. So like what becomes our job is not say to say, okay, yeah, we're never gonna use AI. It's already here, and there's no undo. It's already a system level change.
For sure, for sure.
So if there's any undo, could be around maybe NVIDIA going bankrupt, and then okay, there's no chips all over, but then AI is here. So just like now a matter of us trying to see how well to reposition ourselves within the entire process flow. Because even like those people are generating, apps using AI, whenever they go to production, there are always issues. So the place is always there, because if they have like their spaghetti code, there's always needs for someone to come who understand the entire thing to optimize the entire code base, and then make the entire software app ready for production, and to avoid like simple mistake like exposing API keys, knowing exactly what's the best database that are used for this. Is this AI even generating the best data structure and all of that? So like now an experienced developer will be able to detect all of that. But then AI of course supports in all of those. But then now when it comes to production scaling, yeah, that's where we come. That's where like so the developers they have to always think system level, not just going and writing code, because now we know okay AI can generate some code. So now it's just a matter of looking at those pieces. And then in the cybersecurity aspects, yes, AI of course is getting good, at least in trying to detect or implement the basic. There's some cybersecurity processes that could have been done manually, but then you still need a human at least to ensure those they implemented well. Is everything implemented? Now we are there are even like some cybersecurity AI agents. They'll just be acting on your behalf and your security, detecting vulnerabilities and respond to them and all of that. Yeah, they may still be poor now, but then if we look at the trend, the industry is not slowing down. So it's just now a matter of, for us to say, okay, how best to use the knowledge and the cognitive resources that we have to help like people, even like those who are generating, who are these codes with AI and all of that, to build strong and better products that are ready for markets. Because there are people who still want to expand, they're trying to solve real problems. And
For
there's
sure.
always a need for a software developer, especially when the app goes to production. And then the other question on brute force, I saw those already some answers. And if you want to test how a brute force attack how it works, you can try Kali Linux and with some tools within, such as Hydra, for instance. It give you like some insight on how you could perform some of those attacks through HTTP, FTP, and SSH. So but then say on a basic level, for instance, though there's always a rates limiter when it comes to say login requests. Okay, so okay, if a certain username enters a password, the wrong password 3 times or 10 times, it gets blacklisted, for instance.
For
So
sure.
that's So those kind of small practices they have. There are some websites that implement some, like some capture, for instance, or so it could be like some math capture. Those are just like some simple things that limits the automated process of of brute force. And then of course if you use ensure whatever building of course is secure HTTPS. That's at least some of the basics. That helps even like when someone trying to perform like those attacks. Because another form of attack that comes like this called like denial of like DDoS, where you have your website, someone tried to flood it with a bunch of requests that look legitimate, but it's only to overload your servers or your system, and so that it won't be accessible. So all of those, they are different forms of attack, and yeah, and definitely the solutions are there within the back end by limiting specific requests by this IP address and all of that. So those are the details that if you just use generic codes, those are the things that you want to know, because
Exactly.
that's, yeah, and you can't
Mm.
automate those. Like those are things that you have to check in manually to make sure, okay, is there anything that should be flagged, or how do I implement some functions, some edge functions, for instance, to detect or to stop or to blacklist, or at least some, like some specific IP that's sending some sort of X or Y requests. So those are some of the things that could help out.
Very, very interesting. There is something I wanted to, to mention there, maybe to highlight the answer that Mr. Elvis answered for the question Willow asked. There is this way attackers will be sending a lot of requests to your system, millions and millions of requests at the same time. And then because your server is not able to handle all of them at the same time, and then your server will go crazy, and then they will put their entry from that. So like he answered in the chat, in every backend language you have a way to limit the request that comes from any source. So this is one of the best practices. But there is also a way to detect that a same IP should not be sending a lot of requests at the same time. That's something you can only do in your code. So if you are going with an AI generated code, you don't really have visibility on this. While those are things that you should be the one doing it, you know how protected you are, and what are the protection measure you are actually putting in. And there is one more thing, is that many people think that security is only about things like buying an SSL for your domain. I don't know, using some firewall on the infrastructure side of things. That's good. That's very good. But if your system is still weak in in the infrastructure, I mean, your system can be good in the infrastructure side, but if your system is weak in code side, it's very, very dangerous for you. You can host your system on protected systems, I mean, protected infrastructures. But if your code is still weak, maybe your code is accepting people to create password like 1, 2, 3, 4. Even if you are using a secure and high performant infrastructure, your system will still be weak, and that's not going to be a fault of your vendor for the system you are actually for the infrastructure you are actually using. So security comes first with the code you are building. When you build a secure code, the rest comes after. When you are actually securing your system, before you even think about infrastructure, you can be sure that even if attackers might succeed to hack you, but at least it will take them a lot of time, and maybe you can have chance to detect that some people are trying to hack you, and put some defending measures in place. Yeah, so that's what I just wanted to mention there. Thank you, everyone. Let's have Mr. Elvis, who is also going to talk about the opportunities that comes with the tech industry, and how someone should position themselves and where to find those opportunities, how to sell yourself as a software developer, as a cybersecurity specialist, media, graphic designers and video editors, and data analysts. How do you sell yourself? How do you find job? How do you actually, make your profile recognizable in the tech industry, so that other people can also see you, so that other people can reach out to you. Thank you, Elvis, for being with us, and the mic is yours.
Yes, thank you, John. And I don't really have any specific presentation that I will use, but I'll just be talking, and I hope that it will be useful. So, just for a little presentation, my name is Elvis, and I'm the CTO at Kilowatt Lab. We are a US registered company, and we also operate physically from the DRC. Uh, I've been working at Kilovolt like since 6 years from now. So it's really my baby, and we are still fighting to grow with it. We've been in a partnership with Prime Tech. I think if you are from the Prime Tech Academy, you've probably seen Kilovolt somewhere. So we are partners with Prime Tech Africa to bring like the education to the high level. So about my topic, I want to say something to anyone who's coming to the tech industry. Don't be afraid. You still have your place, but you just have to strategize. Why am I saying this? Is because if you look around, you will see here, hey, it's over. AI is taking over our jobs. There are massive layoffs somewhere. Google is laying off their engineers. I don't know, whichever company is doing that. Don't be afraid. You still have your place, but you just need to strategize differently. I remember like 10 years ago, if someone built a calculator, just a simple calculator, that was enough to put on your CV, and you go out to look for a job and you will surely get it. But these days, things have changed. The threshold to get a job have increased. Today, you cannot just come and say, I built this website, please give me a job. That's not enough, unfortunately, because there is no way to trust someone who just built a website. You can vibe code using VS Code and some AI plugins in there, and you just build a really cool website. So it's not really the time it used to be something you can put in front is past. These days you have to do more. Just like Mr. Christian said at the beginning, you need to not think about tools, but you need to know the basics, the fundamental, and this will help you be an irreplaceable developer. Because these days, if you ask someone, how can you build a website? Maybe they just directly think about the tech stack and say, okay, I will just use Next.js because it's trending. But if you ask him why I use JS and not just use simple HTML, why not use a very simple tech stack? Probably he may not know why. And that's where the gap is. The guy who relied too much on AI as a learning tool will survive. But if you use AI as if it's you and you're just telling it what to do, then you'll be people will, or who are smarter more than you, will be required by company who need to build advanced system, because you cannot tell me that the company that are building AI tools are not using developers. They have developers, and the developer who are working there probably are not even allowed to use AI because they are making the AI we are using. So these developers are humans like us, but the difference is they are building high standard tool. So if you think your job as a developer is just to build websites, is just to build simple app for fun, then AI will replace you. Then you are cooked. But if you think, so if you think you are going to change the world, you are going to build tools that actually impact the world, then definitely AI is not gonna replace you. you will use it as your tool. Maybe you can take ideas from AI. From your spare time, you can keep asking ChatGPT, how can I build this? Why there is a password? Why there is Auth0? Why there is, what is a token? What is a session? How can I build a system like this? Then you also learn the basics about algorithms, all like system design, design patterns. They've been there for many years. Like just Mr. Christian said, it's not going to change. Maybe these days not, but the tools today, like 20 years ago, if you want to build a strong backend, you just use PHP. It was like a standard, I can say. But these days, there are Nest.js, there are even backend as services. There are many choices. So if someone learned only to build a system using PHP, these days, he has become obsolete. But if you know that you can switch, like the language does not matter because all those advanced system design, you can achieve them in a different language. You just change the language, but the fundamental, the basic is there. So just think you're not building basic tools. Just think you are building in advanced tools that people will use at scale, and you shouldn't be worried about this AI hype going around. So that's what I wanted to share to anyone who is starting into the tech industry. It's a very good industry, shaken every time by this kind of hypes. Sometimes it is because tools change, but you also need to stay updated. You need to be learning every time because if you learn to use something today, don't expect that thing to be updated after 5 years. Maybe you need to change the tool because, of course, knowing the fundamental is not enough. You still have to build. And if you want to build, you need to know the tools that you use. And also, please, please, please always ask questions to people who are in the same domain as you. And as you are gifted, you are in the Prime Tech Academy. I think you have good instructors there, or you have people around you who can give you real answers, not answers from AI or not answers from ChatGPT, but you can really have insights from real people. That is a gift, and you should really take it as a blessing and take time to ask your mentors questions that will help you a lot to grow into your career. And also, for those advanced, for people who are here and they know well coding, like they are good at software engineering, please always share with people around you. It's help you also remind, like it's like people say, someone who teach also take that advantage to learn again. So don't be close to yourself. Always share. Even a junior can have things to tell you, and maybe you didn't know about that. So if you have someone who's interested, don't be like, don't be close to yourself. Always share with people around. So just like John said, these days to get a job, you need to, of course, you need to have a CV. That's true, but the way also the CV needs to be done in the past is not the way you need to make it these days. For example, if you know you are a full stack developer, for example, simply writing full stack developer on your CV may not turn into your advantage when a recruiter is looking at your CV. But if you say you help business build robust solution and handle like backend and front-end stuff at the same time, there you're not like You're not like everyone. So pull yourself from the crowd. Don't be like everyone, because everyone call himself uh, full stack. Try to be above a little bit so that you increase your chance to get a job. Of course, with the traditional way, you can still get a job. There is also a fact of chance, but try the best you can to go like a little bit up than the regular way. Like every, if you can see the same pattern in everyone's workflow, try to be a little bit above so that you increase your chance to get a job. That's why in the past, for example, they will tell you to build just a capstone project. That could be enough, because most people, they go to software engineering school, they learn languages, how to build systems, but they did never build something they can share. So in the past, you can just build a simple website to show that you can put in practice what you've learned from school. That was putting you above. But these days, you need to go even far. You need to show that you are a problem solver. You need to show that you are you have critical thinking. You need to show that you can design stuff without talking about programming language and so on. Just show that you can think. Just you can still use your mind. I saw a meme on LinkedIn. People were saying these days, you need to prove that you didn't use AI. You need to make a mistake in your text. So yeah, prove that you're not using AI. Prove that you can think. Prove that your mind is still working, and then you will increase your chance to get that job. And the place, yes, John.
Yes, I wanted to highlight something very quickly there. There is something that is coming with the recruiters for the moment. Whenever they want to hire a new developer, this time they're not sending you things like, okay, we send you 2, 3 questions, you answer, and then we give you a job. Now, they will be asking you to share your screen. You do live coding in the meeting. They see how you are actually handling things by yourself. So what if you are an AI developer who doesn't even understand exactly what you're building? You see, this is very dangerous for yourself. At least if they see that you are building something, maybe you did some mistake in your code, in your live coding, but at least they know this person has, he understands actually what he's building. Maybe he did a mistake because he's a human and he doesn't know everything, but at least this one knows how to think about what he's actually trying to build, so that's where understanding what you are building is very important. Please go on, Mr. Albert.
Yes. Yeah, I think I was just about to talk about now the place to get the job, because after you have your CV in shape, you have your knowledge, you are ready to apply for jobs. There is also another problem, because if you go where there are so many people, like you try to find a job from LinkedIn directly in the jobs listing there, you have less chance to get the job. That's a real thing. But try, like always, try to be unique. Try to find jobs where people, like most people, don't find them. Try a different thing, like send a cold message to a recruiter yourself,
For sure.
or even you can search what business has raised money in the past 3 months. Then you see, okay, this company has raised 1 million to sustain, I don't know, whatever industry they are in. Then try to find the name of the founder, go on LinkedIn, send him a message. He may not reply, but if you repeat it so many times, maybe at some point you'll be lucky, and then one founder will give you a chance. And that increase your chance to get a job, because most people don't do that. So always try to be creative. Don't do things that most people do, because like that you will be in the crowd and people may not see your talent. But if you try to be like somehow unique, then you are definitely going to increase your chance. So myself, outside of my company, I developed a tool that I used myself to to find jobs in the past when I was looking for roles around. So I'm gonna share the link here for anybody. So what my tool does is I get jobs from Google. I get jobs from because Google know many things about the internet than we do. So there are some advanced techniques to use Google to fetch jobs around websites, and most of these jobs are less crowded because people don't do this technique. So myself, I got a role using this technique. It's been 4 years now that I got that job. Then I decided to build the tool that actually do the same process that I was doing manually. So if you go on Google, maybe let me quickly share my screen here. So for example, if you do this, you say there is a page that actually says about this advanced querying on Google. If you say, find me all sites that have something in their URL that end with career, or you can say in URL, it's like a query language somehow. In URL areas, let's see. I can even choose the time. Can say the past week. So what this does is it's trying to find all URLs that have, it's trying to retrieve all pages that have careers in the URL. And if I go, I can even narrow down this to, let's say, next.js. Let's see. Yeah, you can really play with this, and then you will go to a careers page, and then from the careers page, you can find a job and apply to it, and you have less chance to be in high competition from these jobs because most people don't do this. And sometimes on LinkedIn, companies do post fake jobs just to show that they are actively hiring, which is not true sometimes. But if they do it on their website, it's probably less like it's likely true that they are really hiring because they took the time to upload it on their website. But from LinkedIn, it's really easy to create a job entry knowing that they are not hiring. So it's not always true, but this is a way you can play with Google to find jobs. But from Awesome Careers, I just do this on the same query that I show you. I have like 300 queries that it runs per day to fetch the jobs. They may not come accurate, but you can find the job using this technique here. For example, let's see this one. Yeah, I can go on well found and then I'll apply to the job. So yeah, this technique used to work, and it myself, it gave me a job 4 years from now, and it has been useful. I wanted to share it with you so that you can also try. So in short, just try to be unique. Secondly, try your best to get outside of the crowd and try to do things that are not common. Try to be less common, and you will increase your chance to get your job. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Mr. Elvis. Thank you, thank you, guys. All right. So I wanted to add one comment on this, one from Elvis. Today, it's not recommended for serious developers to go with the normal flow. The normal flow is like you apply to a job just blindly like this. So using ways like this one Mr. Elvis just showed is very, very interesting. And there is one other way I myself experienced is when you start having some understanding of software development, you have some basics about front end, back end. You are already comfortable with building things. Try contributing to open source projects. That's one of the very interesting ways to get job very quickly, because that way, when you contribute to something important, most of the time people notice that you contributed, because open source means it's free. You contribute and no one pays you. You contribute to things that are open source, that are there just to help people. But behind those open source, those big open source solutions, there are companies behind it. And when they notice that you are actually helping them for free, okay, you are not only helping yourself to grow, but you are also, making a point. You are also making yourself recognizable. And that way, most of the time, if you really do good in contributing to open source, they always reach out to you. Always, always. That's one of the old style method to get a job quickly. And I used it myself so many times to get jobs in the past. And I really recommend it. For the people who are in the Prime Tech Academy, this we will have a serious discussion about how to join the open source industry. We will host people like Pacific, who was with us in the beginning of the January cohort. He's very experienced with open source, and a lot of people across Africa as well who are really, really into the open source industry. And they will share with you guys the insight about how you can enter the open source communities and contribute. So that's one of the top tier methods to get job very quickly, and quality jobs as well. Thank you everyone for your. I see Christian. Yes, Christian, go on, please.
Thank you so much. I just want to share my point of view about to collaborate in open source projects, because contributing to open source projects is one of the most effective ways to grow as a software developer and improve your professional career. Because
For
for that
sure.
all, it's allow you to work in real projects used by people around the world. Maybe projects that has several budget, but projects that the people use in the daily life. This helps
sure.
you to get practical experience beyond tutorials or personal projects, because you will face real users' necessities. Secondly, you learn how to read and understand existing code base, because when you are a beginner, you don't have experience working in software that have already time in the industry, it's more easy for you to start from scratch. But when you're collaborating in open source project, you should understand how other developers think, understand their code. That's allow you have essential skills in any software development job. And the last one, open source teach collaboration, because we can work remotely for worldwide companies, but we never work alone. We need to develop soft skills like a communication and collaboration.
Yes.
You work with other developers following coding standards. Remember, we will have different cultures, different countries, but we have a collaborative environment following standards, coding review, and the most important is the communication. If you develop real communication skills, you can face any issue and generate great pull requests. So to get started, you don't need to do something complex. You can be hide and fix small bugs, improving documentation, because generate great quality documentation is a great ability, and adding small features. Over the time, these contributions build the confidence to your portfolio. You can add in your portfolio all of your experience collaborating in open source projects. Finally, open source increase your visibility. Recruiters and company can see your work, your code quality, and how you can collaborate, because that means you are one person with the ability to interact with other developers. And in the future, have the ability to have meetings with the customers, understand their necessities, and transforming technical requirements. So
Yeah.
contributing to open source is not just about to help others. It's just about becoming a better and more professional developer.
For sure. For sure. I completely agree with you, Mr. Christian.
Thank you so much.
Um,
Thank you.
Yeah, that's one of the best ways to get jobs this time. And I really, really recommend it. For people who are in prime tech, don't worry, we will have a serious workshop about this. We will show you projects that are serious and projects that turns people who are contributing to employees. Um, don't really worry about that. We will have a very serious workshop about that. Thank you so much. I can see people in the chat who also commented about AI, like Sir John T, who said something about AI, and he highlighted the importance of understanding things instead of relying on AI code, because AI doesn't take responsibility of your mistakes in the code. You will always be the one to justify why your code is a mess. So guys, always make sure you are building maintainable products and things that people can actually trust. Uh, Thank you, everyone. I can see someone, Mark Denise, please. What is the disadvantage of using AI as a developer? Myself, if I can answer your question, I won't say there is I won't say it's completely bad to use AI, because AI is coming. It's being one of the tools we can't avoid anymore. So instead of avoiding it, let's learn how to use it. Okay. AI is bad when you rely on it. Like you can't build anything without AI. No, that's bad. If you are starting, myself, if I can recommend, like for people who are studying software development with the Prime Tech Academy, I can't really advise them to use AI for the moment, because you are still learning. You are learning new things. Let yourself learn things the old way, understand things, master things. Then with the time, when you become a full stack software developer, you can start using AI to code faster. Because software development isn't just about code. Coding is one of the parts of software development, because you can code, yes, but okay. Then after that, what's next? Are you building something that can easily migrate from one platform to another? Are you building something that is really secure? Are you building something that if tomorrow or after tomorrow you get 1 million subscribers or 1 million users, is your code really able to maintain them? That's something you can only take responsibility on. AI doesn't care if tomorrow you're going to have 1 million users on your platform. So all those aspects, you'll be the one coding your system in a way that you can be able to handle 1 million users. Yeah, so that's what I can say to answer your question. It's not bad, but for someone who is learning, it's bad. I can be true about that. For someone who's learning, it's bad, but not completely bad. You can use AI, for example, to ask questions. There is something you learned you didn't understand. You can still ask AI. Can you explain this topic to me? I didn't get it well. Can you explain what is a JSON? Can you explain what is DOM in JavaScript? Can you explain what is this in HTML? Can you explain what is this in maybe Python, PHP, or something? Can you explain what is a library? Can you explain why do we have package.json in a project? Why do we have .env in a project? Why are we not allowed to deploy .env in production? You can ask those types of questions to understand truly what your instructor actually explained. Yeah, I think I kind of answered your question. I don't know if we have any other comments, maybe a question or someone who wants to highlight something. Yes, Christian?
Thank you so much. For toil with my students using PrimeTech, I told, so using AI when you are beginners will be one of the most dangerous that you can do.
Yes.
Because when you do have expertise with any technology, and you start to using the AI, you have several disadvantages. For example, lack of understanding. Because if you depend too much on the artificial intelligence, you may stop learning. And you never stop learning in this industry when every 5 years the technologies will become obsolete. This weekend, you're problem solving skills over time. And that's cybersecurity. So if you don't have the ability to create quality prompts, the quality of your code is poor. For that reason, several riches from cybersecurity perspective you can create when you don't have expertise. The AI can generate code that looks correctly, but here have several flaws if you don't review it carefully. Because you have one idea or you have some problem to solve and you just think about in the short time solution, not a scalable solution. And that's becoming a poor architecture design. Because when you have a problem and you generate a large paragraph or prompt, and the AI generate just 5,000 code lines script when you copy, paste, and it is a compiler or interpreter programming language, you run it and we're good and you say, okay, I'm finished, I'm done. But what do you think about this code in 2 years or in 3 years? Is it maintainable? Is it scalable? That reason, the pattern design, the architecture is one of the most important concepts that we need to learn because they can survive across the time. Technologies will change it, but the fundamentals don't do it. For example, one basic data structure like a loop. The loop was developed at Levin's 400 years ago when only on paper you start to creating these math actions. And now we can use in the programming. The difference is 400 years ago, one mathematical create this function sigma. And now we don't create manually, we use artificial intelligence to create this calculus, but the fundamentals survive across the time. And the bug and difficulty, because all time we are not reading your code lines, you are reviewing and fixing. Sometimes in your job, you're not creating new fixtures. Your job is solve issues. Issues you're gonna face until several sprints, and you can find a solution because you fix one button and brought another more. You add another row in the database, but will override 1,000 years, 1,000 registers in the database. For that reason, the building difficulty is something breaks, and if you don't understand fully the generic code, fixing has become much harder. And finally, the over reliance. You risk becoming dependent on the AI instead of the most important, the engineering critical thinking and build solutions by yourselves.
For sure.
So in short, the disadvantage is not the AI itself, it's the way they use it without engineering and technical judgment. Use correctly, the AI make you faster, but if you use it correctly, that makes you weak as a developer.
Very, very interesting. Thank you so much, Mr. Christian. That's very, very important to highlight those details, especially for Prime Tech Academy people who are also on this call. Thank you so much, Mr. Christian. We have one question in the chat, and I guess it's the last, from Oliver, who was talking about girls in Africa who are still facing challenges, taking up the different tech roles and how they can be encouraged to take part of the tech industry. I'm happy that you asked that question because I know a lot of networks across Africa. Myself, I consider that girls in the tech industry are the most valued people in terms of getting jobs. For that, I can be honest with you. Because for the moment, maybe in the past it was difficult, but for the moment, girls who are really taking it serious with tech, having some consideration. Maybe they can fail if they don't know where to find for those opportunities. I found I know two platforms that are very, very interesting when it comes to jobs for girls in the tech industry. Most of them are are NGOs, yeah, so non-profit organization that make sure all the girls that can prove that they are really good in tech, and they can also prove that they are really girls, because with these things of LGBTQI plus things, a lot of people are just becoming what they want to become. So as long as you can prove that you are a girl and that you know what this platform can really, really help you. So I'm pasting them in the chat for you to check out, and for the others to to take a look. I really, really recommend those platforms. The first and second one are very, very, very interesting. I know a lot of girls across Africa in the tech industry who have been sharing a lot of testimony about those platforms. Those ones can really, really help you. Thank you, everyone, for your time. If we don't have another question here, I'm taking this time to really thank you guys for giving us your time and to considering this webinar. We'll be doing more and more webinar about tech, about cybersecurity, about software development, about data analytics, about media, graphic design, and video editing, and a lot of other topics. Thank you, everyone, and see you next time. Thank you, and bye-bye.